Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm Scott Ryan. I was just reading a piece by Dick Morris from my email today on the latest with the Iowa polls. And he was indicating that Rick Santorum saw a fairly impressive rise in the polls. And I thought that that was interesting. I've long been a fan of Rick Santorum and wasn't really that impressed with him in the earlier debates. I thought he came across as a little whiny against some of the other candidates. And the more I think about it, when I look at all the candidates, many of them have had their ups and downs. Many of them have negatives that really force the voters to ignore or at least plug their nose and forget about if we're to support them for the primaries. But with Rick Santorum, he's got one, but it is what makes him different is his isn't related so much to his legislative record. As a senator, he was very passionate as a conservative, both fiscally as well as socially, and a great voice for the pro-life cause. But his biggest negative, as far as I have been able to ascertain and recall from over the years, is that back when Pat Toomey first ran for that Senate seat against Arlen Specter, Santorum really perturbed many conservatives because he backed Arlen Specter instead of Toomey. And Toomey, of course, lost and later took that Senate seat after the meltdown in 2008 forced the revolution, so to speak. Conservative revolution. I've heard a number of opinions on that Santorum backing of Specter, and from what I've been able to ascertain, it was pretty much a reciprocation. Specter had backed Santorum as a senator, and it was just a standard procedure that Santorum would back Specter. And I can understand, being a former Pennsylvania resident and knowing a lot about Specter, I can understand why conservatives would be perturbed at that or by that. The more I stop and think about it and compare his track record to that of his fellow quote-unquote frontrunners, Santorum is a lot more palatable. He's been very true as a conservative. He's a compelling speaker. I think that he would stand a good chance against Obama. I mean, thinking about Gingrich and some of his compromises, the issues with his marriages, of course, I think that can be overlooked to some degree by voters, but it really perplexed me, his judgment in doing that commercial with Nancy Pelosi. I mean, the fact is, it was a campaign, a propaganda campaign for one of the most important issues that we face, because it is an issue of socialism. This notion that we can solve it if we unite with the world and abrogate our liberties to a bunch of Euro socialists so they can make billions of dollars trading carbon credits. If this intelligent man has come to the conclusion that we can solve it, that's asking a lot to forget when you think about what they want to do, what it will cost Americans in terms of our constitutional rights as well as fiscally. It's abhorrent, and I'm having a hard time reconciling myself with his position on that. I'm really tired, as many conservatives are, of pretending. We're tired of holding our nose. And so when I think about Santorum and his record versus that faux pas, so to speak, in backing Specter many years ago, he's looking a lot better. Now, as far as the other candidate, the other so-called frontrunner, Mitt Romney, that blows my mind. I mean, Dick Morris has indicated that, in his opinion, Mitt Romney will win Iowa and then New Hampshire, and then perhaps Gingrich can mount a comeback in South Carolina and Florida. I find that appalling, and I I have more respect for the voters in Iowa. I really have a hard time believing that they would fall for the empty rhetoric of Mitt Romney when contrasted with his very liberal, inconsistent record at best. Mitt Romney has been on every side of every issue. He has shown how compelling, how passionate he can be on every side of every issue. There is no way of knowing when that guy is telling the truth. If you look at his past positions, where he bragged about how pro-abortion he is and how he would never waver from it when it was convenient, and then you compare that to his ardent pro-life stance now, and then you look at his distancing himself from Ronald Reagan and denouncing Reagan when running in Massachusetts, and then just this last election, dropping the name of Ronald Reagan every chance he got, there is no way of knowing when this guy is being sincere, and there is no way this guy is worthy of our votes. But I'm not actually worried about Romney, because no matter what, if he were to win the primary, I know I 100% will not vote for him under any circumstances. I would rather Obama destroy the country than have ourselves fall for it again. There's just no way. If there's a third party, I don't care who it is, if it's a viable conservative party, or a viable, even libertarian candidate, I will vote for that candidate. This would be the first time in my voting life that I did not vote for the Republican candidate for president. And I don't care. I will not plug my nose. I will not listen to the idiocy that got us into this mess over the last decades of telling us that a vote for so-and-so is a vote for Obama. I'm not falling for it. This is the last stand. Mitt Romney, if he wins the nomination for the Republican Party, whoever that third party candidate, will have a chance to be the long shot like Lincoln and win it as a third party candidate. I mean, we are in a situation right now that is very similar to that which preceded our last Civil War, and that third party candidate would have a chance. I don't care if it's Donald Trump. I don't care if it's Ron Paul. I would rather plug my nose and vote for one of them than Mitt Romney. And I know that there are many that a vote for Mitt Romney is a vote for Obama. No matter what they say, that is the case. Thank you for joining me. I'm Scott Anderson.